Hello students, the purpose of this video is to show you, let's see, how to format your paper in MLA format, in MLA style. I'm going to use a modified MLA style. It may not be exactly like something you would go if you went to a style sheet or a website or something that shows MLA format. It's pretty close. What we're using here is good enough for our purposes. One important feature is that we're not using sources. So I'm ignoring all the stuff about sources. For example, it's called the works cited page. Just, I mentioned that, but it doesn't matter because we're not using a works cited page for essays 1 or 2. We'll use it for essay 3. Okay, that's many weeks from now. In the last third of the semester, meaning the last 5 months or so, last 4, that's completely wrong. The last 4 weeks or so of the semester is when we'll use works cited. So again, in this essay, let me go to that point. And by the way, this is part 3, right? Part 3 of the final explanation of essay number 1, okay? Because really there's been more than 3 parts, so we count the discussion, the journals, all those videos I posted for that. I mean, there's been a bunch of explanations that really might be like the 10th one. But tonight's, from this last series, I've done part 1, part 2, and now this is part 3 of the essay 1 explanation. So if we go to best place to go, I think, is course content and week 6. And 2 things before I start. Remember that this is the V05 section Blackboard site for English 100. It also applies to those of you in V06. I'm also on student preview. That's only because I'm the instructor and I have to put it in that view so I can see what you're seeing. Okay, and show you what you should be seeing. And notice these videos are already posted. Explanation part 1 and explanation part 2, 1 of 3 and 2 of 3. So now this is 3 of 3, what I'm producing right now. Okay, let's see, essay 1 assignment. Okay, and so what I was saying before is if you look at my sample, I've used MLA format. There it is, there's MLA format. It's got notice no cover page. No cover page, no title page, none of that. That doesn't happen in MLA. It happens, for example, in APA format, a different format, but not in MLA. Notice the heading, first and last name, your instructor's name. A lot of these things everyone's going to have. Everyone's essay will say Mr. Pettis like that. And everyone's essay will say English 100, English 0100 V. For some of you, it'll say 05. For some of you, 06. And don't use the brackets, please. No brackets. The brackets are just there to show that you're replacing this with this right here. That right there with something else. Same thing, obviously, with your name. Don't put brackets around your first and last name. And then the month, let's say you turn it in on the due date, which is October 3rd. Then you will write out October 3, 2020, right? Notice there's a centered title. This is electronically centered, and I'll show you that. That's what I'm going to show you, how to do these things. Electronically centered. I didn't estimate it with my spacebar, although I suppose using this spacebar is also electronic, right? When you think about it, it's also an electronic method. But what I mean is that there is a specific little tab on Microsoft Word, for example, where you click on it and it centers the phrase or whatever. Please don't center the rest of it. Sometimes I get this essay that kind of looks like a poem, right? Because it's got a little tiny thing centered at the top like this, and then everything else is centered that follows. No, I don't want a poem, right? So you need to make it look like an essay, and so notice everything is flush left, everything is aligned to the left, right? Except for this first line, right, which is indented, and this right here is 1/2 inch. Like on a printout piece of paper would be a literal physical 1/2 inch distance right there from here to here. All right, so again, centered only here, everywhere else just flush left. The right, I don't think that it's correct to align it to the right also, like to make it a block. it's jagged at the end, and it should wrap around. Notice there are no partial words, right? They all just wrap to the next line, and you should have word is already set up. Most things are already set up so that there's word wrap around. Okay, wrap, W-R-A-P, I think. And notice double spacing all the way from top to bottom. Double spacing all the way. Okay, there it is. And then there's this deal right here. This again would just say, for example, if your last name, let's say your name is John Garcia, or Janie Garcia, whatever it is, then this would say Garcia, right? Whatever the last name is, right there. And then there has a page number, right? And that page number increases. So this would say Garcia 2. If you might not get to a page 3, that's fine. I did. So Garcia 3, right? And Garcia 4 if you get to, well, obviously I got to a page 4, right? So you might not get to page 4, page 3, but you really should get to page 2. If you don't get to page 2, then your essay is too short, right? Even if you're writing an essay that's at the minimum, which is 600 words. Remember, I don't want to see any brackets in the essay. That this just shows that it's something that gets replaced. All right, that's why it has brackets. You will not have brackets anywhere in your essay. Please don't. Okay, the format is for a grade. Okay, a small part of the grade, only I think 10% of the grade. But for those of you trying to get an 8, which would be all of you, right? Or whatever grade you're trying to get, right? Missing some points from this category can influence you getting that A or getting that B or whatever. So you need to get the format right, and also it's expectation. There is the expectation, not just mine. MLA format is I think a national, maybe international thing, and so people even in different countries, depending on what you're writing, may demand this format as well. So once you learn it here, you can. Someone says MLA, you know what it is. You know what it is, okay? And you'll just use it without having to be told exactly what to do because you already know the format. All right, so that's how it looks. Right? Notice I'm not focusing on the content, what I'm saying, I'm just focusing on the look of it at this point. All right, so that is the, and just to show you, I guess, let's see, where this instruction is. If you look at the instruction sheet, it says it here, item number 11. Item number, what is it called? Guideline, or yeah, requirement number 11. Is that your essay be typed in MLA format, and there is in words, right, the requirements that it needs to have. Okay. So that's where the requirement is. So I will use Microsoft Word, okay, and many apps are similar to Microsoft Word. In fact, before I use Microsoft Word, let me use something else. I hope this works. Okay, I'm going to go into the STC website. Okay. Here's the STC website. And then I'm going to go into, let's see, Jagmail. I'm trying to do it like the way a student would go into it. Actually, you can also, let's go into Jagnet. Let's go into Jagnet, okay? Jagnet has everything. It's a place where lots of things are included. And so, can't chew gum and walk at the same time, so I couldn't talk and enter my password at the same time. All right, so there it is. Let's hope that this works just fine. See, Jagnet has everything. I don't know if yours has the faculty app options. I don't know. I know that mine has the student app options, but whichever Blackboard, this one or this one, it'll take you to the one that pertains to you, right? So lots of things are here. For example, the syllabus, not just for my class, but for all your classes, etc. So let's go to Jagmail, right? And the reason I want to go to Jagmail is that I want us to access something there, okay? So I clicked on Jagmail and it makes me sign in again. All right, let's sign in again. It's like, I already did it, right? Why do I have to sign in again? But it is a security function, security feature to make you sign in twice. And speaking of security functions or features, I don't think that you have this, but in my case as an instructor, fortunately I have my phone with me. It's not in my, bedroom or somewhere else, because on my phone, it'll tell me that someone's trying to log in. And by me tapping on something on my phone, everything's fine. So I'm thinking, what if I lose my phone? You know, how am I going to do this? But oh well. Oh well. So I got in, and here's some email of mine. Don't worry about my email. I want to click on this over here. Ah, there it is. And I'm clicking on Word. You see? Word. Okay. I don't know. There was nothing to see there in my email, right? That's my own email. But the point here is that I went to these things up here, right? These, and notice there's not, all the apps are down here too. So O is the Outlook. That's the email that we use. That's what Jagmail is. But there's PowerPoint, Excel, Word, whatever that is. Teams. That's Teams. I was thinking that we might, in the next few weeks, very soon, have a live session. I won't go into that, but I think we might use Teams for that. Don't worry about that right now. But I'm just noticing that these app buttons are here. So right now I'm using Word. And so no excuses. You've got access to Word. It's free. You have access to the Microsoft Online suite. Okay. This work, whatever you do, you don't save it. It saves in the cloud automatically. You see, right now I'm going to type, kind of at the top of it, Jose Perez, right? Right. And there it is. It already saved it for me. I don't have to save it. If I close and I come back to that document, it'll be there. It'll be called document 3. So maybe I should change the name to something else, right? So you can use this to make your thing, and then you would attach it through the, instead of browsing my computer, it would be browse the cloud, right? Okay. And that's in the part 2 tutorial, how to do that. I think it's in the part 2. All right, so all of you have access to Microsoft Word. I strongly advise Microsoft Word. I also advise that you use a computer, and what I mean by that, everything's a computer, right? Even your refrigerator is a computer sometimes, right? These days, and a car. Cars are full of computers now. It's almost like a writing computer on the street or the road. But what I mean by that is a laptop or a desktop. That's what I mean. I recommend that you use that rather than just for the functionality, the comfort of that, and you'll make fewer mistakes. I know you probably see a bunch of mistakes I make. It's because I'm using my phone. I'm thinking, oh, I should get on the laptop and write that pronto message on Word. This is what I do when I do things right. I go on Word, Microsoft Word. I type out my message that I want to share with you on Pronto, and then I edit it for mistakes, and then I put it, and then I paste it into Pronto, copy and then paste it. And then I send it to you, and there are fewer mistakes when I do that. When I use my phone, and especially with my big fat fingers, right, it's hard to type on there. So I really advise that the quality of your work will naturally increase as you use a laptop or a desktop. So if you don't have access to that, again, I know if there's a whole issue of COVID-19, and you should only do things that you're comfortable with doing. Like, for example, if it involves going to a library, including the STC library, to go use a laptop or desktop computer. Of course, that all depends on you. But what I am saying is that there's a higher chance of good work if you use the big machine as opposed to the little one. Other alternatives is to connect the keyboard, like a big keyboard, to your phone or tablet. That also works. I've done that in the past, and I've gotten good results. That's another way of doing that. Okay. All right, you know what? I'm going to use Word though, and that's a Word. What you saw there was Word, but I'm going to use Microsoft Word, like the desktop one. I mean, or desktop or laptop one, and actually even on a phone or it can be something that's an app that's on the device rather than in the cloud. So even on a mobile device, what I'm saying is that I'm using the regular Word rather than the one that's in the cloud. Okay. So notice I look for it here, right? I found it because I have it installed. I have another laptop that's in the shop right now. I'm gonna get it back soon, and it doesn't have Word installed. So on that one, either I will buy Word from somewhere, or since I'm, like all of us, we want to save money, I might simply save money and use the cloud version that I just showed you, right? Since I also have it free through being an instructor at STC. Right. So on that other laptop, right, that I'm gonna probably get tomorrow from the repair person, they're repairing the screen. I will be just like you. If that's what you're doing, I will be using the one that's online. But here I have it installed. I don't know when I bought it, or I bought it somewhere. at a low price, I think discount for instructors or something like that. And so I have it. So blank document, why not? That's where we're beginning, with a blank document, okay? All right, so there it is. Now I noticed something, I think because the last document that I wrote, it wasn't showing like the page divisions. So, you know, if you double click like that, it kind of cuts out the heading area. It usually is not like that, but I think the last time I worked on it, it was like that, so I kept it like that for me. So I'm gonna double click there so I can see what's in the heading area. What I'm interested in is that I'll have to have my last name and a page number, okay? All right, so again, I'm showing you how to do this on the regular Microsoft Word, okay? If there is something that isn't obvious how to do on the online version, Google it. How do I create, I will call things by name, and that way you can Google that thing. For example, how do I create a header with my last name and the page number, right? Or how do I create the page numbers for them to come out automatically? So Google it like that, Google it, however, and you'll find it. And you will find the answers to those things. Those of you using Google Docs, right? That's not Microsoft Word. That's Google Docs, right? It's the word processor within Google Docs, and it's also in the cloud. Google that, and there's probably like a help somewhere where you can click on it, like right here. Help. This is like a help, right? And so I can get help on how to do these things, but I think I already know. Okay, so I'm just gonna go forward. So how do you do it? Let's see if I can do this. So the first thing to do is, let's use, heading number 1. Now this thing is important or not, it's more important for me that I use it than for you, because when I post documents online for you to see, they have to have this thing called accessibility. And if I use headings and things like that, it makes it easier, and so I'll leave it at that. If you don't use a heading, I can live with that, okay? In your case. But I went ahead and put heading, and in that heading area, I'm putting, and notice the color changes. There's something that I should probably take care of. It's got a huge font, but I'll go ahead and take care of it once I've already typed something, okay? So I've got let me give myself another name, okay? Albert Cáceres. I'm gonna call myself Albert Cáceres. My name is Jose A. Perez, but I'm gonna call myself Albert Cáceres just on the offhand that someone thinks that they should put their teacher's name up there, right? It happened before, okay? So I know it's silly, but it happened. So Albert Cáceres, right? This, like someone else, some student whose name is that, okay? All right, so then I just hit enter, and then the second thing, what was it? The instructor's name. So there it is, Mr. Perez. And notice what happened. For some reason, I didn't honor the fact that I'm asking for a heading. So I'm heading back, hitting enter. It doesn't want to do it. You know what? I'm not going to worry about it, because what I'll do is I will select it and then just hit heading 1 on it. In fact, notice what happened when I hovered. It changed it to change it to heading 1 style, and that's what I want. But I'll do it when I'm done. The next thing is English, and I'm going from memory, but this is all on the sample. On the sample, it doesn't have actual information, like not all the way, but here it does. So let's say V05, okay? This also applies for those of you who are in English 100 V06. Okay, notice how I wrote it out. This is my preference. If you put like little dots or dashes or something, okay, fine. But I like keeping things simple. I wrote out English 0100 V05, and I just put spaces in between the 3 parts. And then finally, the date. Let's say you turn this in on October 3rd, 2020, like the day that it's due. It could be October 2nd, October 9th. Remember, you have to October 10th. That's the late deadline. And so that's it. So this is heading, right? Let's call this heading then. So I'm just selecting it because the first one's right, but the other stuff isn't. So I'm calling it heading number 1. Okay, that's fine. That's good. Now it's too big. It's in Calibri Light 16. I don't want that, but I'll fix that in a little bit. Okay. So then I'm gonna hit enter. And notice this kind of looks like double spacing, but it's a deceptive double space. It isn't the true 2.0 double space. And right here, we're back to single spacing. Well, I don't care. Right now, I'm not worried because I'll change all those things. what I want to show now is to use centering. So notice, this is what I meant. Right now I'm hitting my spacebar and moving it over. In Spanish, un tanteo, like a, what do you call it? An estimate of where my center will be. So yeah, the center's around there, but it also depends on what my title says, right? So I don't know. What did I call my essay? Playing the ukulele. I don't know. If it's something different than what I put on the sample, forgive me. But so see, there it is. Okay, now I see. Oh, it's not centered. So let me move. That's not the way to do it. Okay, that's not the way to do it. So I'm moving all the way back to the edge here to the beginning. Oh, and now it took on the format of the header. But again, it doesn't matter. All I care about right now is the centering. So I'm gonna hit a center, and now it's centered as it's supposed to be. Okay. Then I'm gonna go over here. Right. So I was at the end of it. And I'm just gonna hit the enter and I'm just gonna start typing. And now you can't see me doing this, but on the keyboard, all the way to the left of the keyboard, there is something called tab. I'm gonna hit it once. That's it. I hit it one time. And now it's indenting. So whatever I type will begin here. So I'm just gonna type something. This is the beginning. It doesn't matter what we type here. I'm just putting something, so something's there. This is the beginning of, or it doesn't matter. This is a wonderful essay that will win a prize because it's just so amazing. Amazingly awesome. And if you don't think it is, awesome, I feel sorry for you. I don't know. Whatever. I don't care what it says. Okay. So let's see. I'm just gonna make this a little beefier, meaning I'm gonna make it a paragraph. There's my introduction paragraph. I just put the same thing over and over. Okay. So there's that. Okay. I mean, I could have like gotten my actual material from my essay and stuck it here, but I don't want to worry about extra things and make this video longer. Okay. So it's just what we need. Okay. So that looks good, right? So, I think this is a good place to go ahead and do those other formatting things. This is too big. This is too small. So first thing to do is to call this the whole thing. I'm just going to do kind of like select with my mouse, or I have a shortcut, Control A, selects everything. By the way, for those of you who are using a phone or a tablet and have some kind of word processor on it, like Google Docs or even Word on your phone or tablet, if you get a keyboard, you can do tricks like that, like Control A, and there's the Control C for copying, Control V for pasting. That's only if you get a keyboard for it, right? Otherwise, you have to just kind of like hold down, press down, and the little menu pops up and things like that. But I like doing it more quickly with tricks, with keyboard shortcuts. Okay, so I've selected everything. Why? Because I want to change this to Times New Roman, and I'm just going from memory what's in the instructions. Now remember, it says Times New Roman. So notice this changed right here to Times New Roman. This did not, or did it? Did it? Yes, it did. It changed. Good. But this retained the large size. Okay. Or rather, let me think about this. No. Everything kept the size it had before, but the style changed to Times New Roman. That's what happened, right? Oh, somehow the last zero got chopped up. So we were back in the Middle Ages in the year 202. Okay. All right, 2020. And so now let's mess with the. So I'm selecting again, and I did it the slow way. I can do Control A. 12. Now everything's 12. Sometimes some say, the heading should be bigger and all that. In MLA, it shouldn't. Like, everything should be the same. Everything. Now, this should be double spaced. It should. But this, notice, it already has like some nice spacing to it. So there's no need to make it double spaced. And then I noticed that I think there's, from here to here, there's also the same spacing. And the way to test that is I can hit this, and yeah, notice there's some spacing. So that's already there. That's already done. So that's good. This right here is good. This is good too, except that it should be double spaced. And in fact, there should be a space from here to here. So let me see what's going on right there. If I go like that, what I'm doing right now is right clicking. I did that with my mouse. Or you can go up here to paragraph, before and after. There's like the spacing that happens before and after a certain place. So before, it doesn't matter because there's nice spacing from the date to there. So that's no problem. But for after this right here, I want there to be like a spacing. So let me see if this works. I have a feeling I should just highlight that. Before this, there's spacing we already have. After that, there should be a space created. And this is 12 because it's 12 point size. So 12 kind of little, I don't know what they're called. Pixels is the wrong word. 12 little spaces for spacing. Completely inaccurate term, but it doesn't matter. So I'm going to go here to paragraph, and I'm going to call this 12. To make a long story short. Perfect. See? And notice when I did that, when I highlighted this and I went in there, it already had the before spacing of 12, right? And over here it said nothing. So I wanted it to have the same thing the same spacing it enjoyed before. I wanted it to have after, right? And so that's why now both of them say, when we highlight just that, 12 spacing of 12 before and spacing of 12, I guess 12 points of spacing. I guess that's the accurate term. This over here, I don't think it matters. I don't think it matters because it's just that. Now, over here is where it matters. So I'm going to select this, the slow way, and either I can right click with the mouse. If you're using some mobile, like a phone or a tablet, you kind of press on it and tap on it, and you might have to hold it in or something, and then the little menu comes out, and then you can change things. But here, or I've used them before, but it's been a while. So let's see, I'm going to go to paragraph. Okay, here on Word. And what it's got a before spacing of 0 and an after spacing of 8. Let's make this simple. I'm going to say, don't worry about that. I'm going to say, instead of multiple, whatever that is, I don't even know why it's 1.08. What's special about that? I'm just going to go double. Okay. And I think that should do it. Yeah, that's it. Okay. So from then on, I come to my second paragraph. Let me just copy and paste this one. Of course, you're not going to do that for your actual essay. You see, that's how it looks from paragraph to paragraph. So we've got our heading, we've got our title, and notice the spacing was kind of already built into the heading thing, but then there wasn't spacing from here to here. So I went in after highlighting this into paragraph, or I right clicked into paragraph. I changed it to 12 spacing afterwards. Then I just highlighted this. I went into paragraph again, and then I changed whatever it said there, which to me is kind of weird. I changed it to zeros, and I just said double, because it'll just do double spacing from then there to the very end of the essay. And then just to show you how it should look, I copied this and I pasted it there. That's how a transition from paragraph to paragraph looks, right? The essay looks. Let's just do it. Why did I paste it again? It was already there, right? Oh, okay. And see, notice I hadn't. So I hit the tab. And there it is. Hit the tab. So there it is. There's a 5-paragraph essay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. It's got some additional space and no works cited or anything afterwards. No graphs, no pictures, none of that. Okay. It's in the instructions. Don't do other stuff. So what do we need? We just need this little header area over here with the page number. The way there are different ways of creating it. The moral of the story is that it needs to be plain. Okay. In fact, maybe something we can even do, it's all right if it ends up blue like this. It's like a way to distinguish that it's heading as opposed to everything else. You could also change the color back to black. So here I selected what I want to change, and then I'm just going to go automatic, right? So now it's, because the moral of the story is that it'd be plain, no decorations, okay? Let the beauty of your words be the decoration, something like that, okay? So there's the essay, nice and neat, nice and uniform all the way through. And all we need is, in my case, it should say Cáceres 1, and this should say Cáceres 2. If I end up on a third page, which I kind of did, but I really don't need it, right? Because trying to delete this. See, I'm gonna select there and then go back. Okay, leave that. All right, so right there. How do we do that? Well, this is the way I do it. I go to Insert. Again, using Microsoft Word. There's header. You can do it with header. You can do it with footer. Not with footer, because that would be at the bottom. It has to be either header or page number. I'm going to use page number. Top of page. So all I did was click on that. And then these options came out. And so whichever one I choose, it'll give me more options. Let me do that again. So first of all, I change from home. From this home ribbon. On the ribbon, I change it from, I don't know if it was there, if it was somewhere else. No, I think it was on home. I change home to insert. There it is. And then look over here, right? Header and footer, it says that's this little area. And so header or page number will do it. I recommend page number. Top of page, I just put my mouse there. I didn't even click on it. I didn't press on it. If it's a touchscreen, I didn't tap on it or anything. And then just by hovering over it, by positioning the pointer there, it brought up these options. So I just move over here. Which one do I want? This one. That's what the example shows, right? So now I have to click it or tap it. There it is. For some reason, it took me to the second page instead of the first, but there it is. The 2 was created there, and the 1 was created there. Okay. You're saying, well, this is not the way we used to do essays in my other class or something like that. Well, maybe you were using a different format, because in MLA, it's the last name and the number there, page number. And notice the page numbers have been created automatically from 1 to 2, right? 3 would follow, and so on and so forth, automatically. You shouldn't type your page numbers. You shouldn't type your page numbers, because it's happened to me that a long time ago. I would type my page numbers, then I'd make changes, and so now that, let's say the 2 was like, over here somewhere in between 2 sentences and in the middle of a paragraph, right? Again, just whatever changes you make, these will always stay where they're supposed to. Okay. So that's that, but I need to add my last name, which in this case I'm calling Cáceres, right? So I'm just gonna go back to that insert, right? Go back into the page number. There it is. So I went back in. I went back in like that, but just selecting it again. But the 1 and the 2 were already there. Notice I just double click right here to get out. I can also get back in by double clicking up there. That's another way to get in. Notice the flashing cursor thing, the little line is there. So I'm just gonna, right there, nothing's gonna happen. I'll type, not that is right. Oh, Control Z or undo, right? Because I got rid of it, right? So I can use Control Z on the keyboard, or I can press this. All right, so as I was typing, I was careless, and because I was trying to erase the Pérez, right? And type instead Cáceres. There. And when I type Cáceres, I hit the space bar to create a space. Notice how small this is compared to that. Let's fix that. Select it, go to home, or wherever you have to go on your app or your program, and change it to 12. Okay. Again, I'm not showing you how to do that on Google Docs, how to do it on this online Word. Find it, Google it, right? This is the expectation that it looked like this. And notice the page number changes 1 to 2 and then to 3, but the other thing does not. So it only makes changes on the number, on what's called pagination, going from page to page and assigning a number. But it doesn't change the last name. What would it change it to, actually, right? Oh, there's one thing. I'm like, double click again, because this has a different font style. This over here is in Times New Roman 12 size, so I took care of the size, making it 12. But I forgot one thing that was right next to the size, which was the font, right? And so this font should be Times New Roman. Now it looks right. This is grayed out. But if you type it out, if you print it out, it's going to be the same color as everything else. It'll be automatic black color. We're probably not going to print it out, and I don't mind that it's grayed out when I look at it, but just be advised about that. Okay, so that's it. This is how to create I'm making you dizzy scrolling up and down. To how to create. Of course, some of you will have V06 on that, right? And your date might change based on what it is, based on what the actual date you turn it in. Let's see, save it. You have to save this. Either save it in the cloud or save it in on your computer. So if you're saving it on your computer, on your device, there's a place to save it. And when you're using like a phone app, I think it saves it automatically for you. You might change the name to something else, but it saves it automatically as long as you know what it's called and you can find it. When you have like a desktop or laptop like this, you go to File, Save As. And in my case, I have lots of places where I save things. This is the folder I use for my stuff, but I'm just gonna go on, I'm looking for documents. There it is, documents. Or I can hit the browse and look for the folder. So, but I have so many things that I use, so it was there. And so I'll just give it a name. It's good to have your name on it, but give it something like, maybe something simple like E1, right? E1, and I actually recommend that you put first draft. First draft or first D, or maybe even something like 1D, or, you know, first D, and then also have your name on it, okay? So that's kind of a good thing to label. E1 or SA1, you know, 1D, first draft, out, and then your last name in there, your name there somewhere. Hit save, and it'll be in my document. So when I attach, I would attach from documents, from that folder, or from a USB, or from the desktop, or from a special folder I have for essays, or whatever it is. What about saving it in the cloud? So File, do I have that option? Export? No, do I export it? No, I don't think so. I don't think I have this computer set up to automatically save to the cloud, but I can show you how. You know what? I do save documents to the cloud often. One thing is to attach it to an email, let's say within Blackboard or Jagmail or something. That's one way to save to the cloud. But another, let me see if I can do it real quick. I already have it saved on my computer. Now, in your case, if you have like a phone or tablet, or if you're using Google Docs, that is how you'll save it. You'll be saving it to the cloud and then attaching it from the cloud. But let's say you're using a desktop and you also want a cloud version. Let's say you lose your laptop, right? Let's hope that doesn't happen. Don't mean to curse you, right? But let's say you lose a USB. That's more common. And you had all your work there. You know, every time the students tell me that, I'm like, okay, lame excuses maybe, right? Maybe they're making it up. And I almost wish it's a lame excuse because I don't want anyone to lose their laptop. But if it's true, then it's no longer a lame excuse, but it's a lack of preparation. You should always save your work in more than one place, all right? Okay, remember, when I tell you things like this, it's not to, I make mistakes of that nature too. And so we need to learn to prevent those kind of problems. It's really easy to lose a USB drive with all our work. So let's have a backup for that. So even though I was able to save on a physical laptop, remember this laptop can get lost or stolen. It can simply break and the whole hard disk be damaged and nothing works anymore and I can't get it back. So I should save this on a USB. I will not model that. But what I can do is I can put this in the cloud. Is there a simple way of doing this? Can't think of it, so I've got a way that I know how to do this. So I'm gonna go back into my email. Now I'm gonna go back to that Jagnet. Didn't leave it open, I guess. Okay. There's my password. I'm gonna go back to those dots over here, or rather, okay. First, I'm gonna go into my. I wish there were a place. Is there a place to pick apps here rather than have to go into my email? It doesn't seem like there is. So okay, so I'm gonna go into my email because I know it's there. And quickly, I'm gonna go over here, and I'm gonna go to OneDrive. OneDrive. You and I have lots of storage space on OneDrive, okay? So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take this. I kind of want to open them both, so I'm just gonna messing with the windows here. Where is that folder? Documents. I remember I put it in documents. It's gonna be here toward the bottom somewhere. Oh, it alphabetized it. I'm gonna go to date modified. So it puts everything by the date that I did it. And there it is, E1. Had I gone by alphabet, then yeah, it would have been in the E's. There it is, right? But I'll just go there at the end, okay? So let me make this smaller. So there it is, right there. And then here is that. And so I've got both things. I'm just gonna drag this one and stick it in here. All right, so uploaded one item. It should be in here somewhere, and got a bunch of other stuff. How about, where'd it go? New, sync. Trying to find where it ended up. Let me try again. I'm gonna go from here, and then stick it in here. Ah, okay, a file with a name already exists. Okay, so I'll add it, who cares? Same thing. Recent, okay, recent. January, I don't need January, I need it right now. Where is that, 2020? Today, document 3. I'm not quite sure why it's not, but I know it's there because when I was trying to save it again, it told me it's already here, right? So I don't know. It's there. I just don't know why it's not listing toward the top. Who knows? All right, but it's in there. I'm confident that I could find it if I needed it, I guess. And I'm gonna have to Google, where do I find that thing that I saved? You know? But it's done. I want to tell you one more thing now that I've shown you the format, right? This is not about format, but it's about how to find your essay once you've submitted it. So I'm back. So let's say I go back to the beginning, right? And you submit your essay, you do everything right. You go to the place where the link is, course content. It's in many places, but it's in the week 6 folder, right? And then there's the essay 1 assignment. You've got it ready. You've got your essay saved somewhere in the cloud, or you have it somewhere, right? You hit that link, right? Scroll down, have it. I also have it in the actual regular, computer. I saved it there, right? So browse my computer. I remember I saved it in documents. There it is. Open. It's attached. I agree to submit my paper, blah, blah, blah. And then I'll hit submit. Okay, I'll hit submit. See what happens here? What's happening here, this conversion process means that it's going to display the essay. So first and foremost, if you can see this essay, so will I. Okay? So that's the first thing. That's how you don't need to email me, text me, or anything and ask me, did you get my essay? Call me on the phone at 3 in the morning. I'm exaggerating, but really, you don't need to contact me about that because you will see the essay. Now, if you don't see your essay, then maybe you should contact me, right? But actually, there's an option there too. So the most security you'll have is if you actually see your essay and look it over, see that that is what you wanted to turn in, or if you accidentally submitted something else. Okay, I submitted, I don't like, obviously this is the wrong essay. I mean, it's the wrong type of thing, but it is what I wanted to submit, right? I'm gonna get a 0 on it because it's just nonsense, right? But it is what I wanted to submit, right? So no problem, it worked, right? Let's say, and I'm not sure what the reasons are, but sometimes when I access the work to grade it, right, I don't see the essay here. I, as the instructor, don't panic because I know maybe it probably still worked. It probably still worked. So I go over here. So same thing with you. If you don't see your essay display, like this, don't worry. Come over here. Don't click on the link, click on the download arrow. If you click on the download arrow, now I'm using Chrome. So whenever downloads on Chrome, come here. Downloads in Internet Explorer or Edge or something, go maybe to the center, I don't know. And Mozilla Firefox somewhere in here or up here, I don't know. But on this, they come here, and I can either see what folder it went to, which would be the downloads folder, or I can go ahead and open it. And if I click on it, even if I didn't see it display here in kind of a smaller form, okay, there it is. I hadn't seen it in the center there, but I can see it here. All right, it worked. And if I can see it, I'm thinking of the student, then so can Mr. Pettis, right? If Albert will say, okay, I can see it, so can Mr. Pettis. So again, you don't need to contact me and ask me if I got it. Yeah, I'll get it eventually when I get around to grading it, okay? I'm not gonna grade the next season. I'm not gonna grade it the next day and see, oh, let's see which essays came in. No, I have other things to do at first, okay? So it'll take a few days for me to get started on grading but you're the one that's going to know that it worked or it didn't work, because you either see it, or if you don't see it, you'll be able to download it and see what you submitted. And this is cool because you always have access to the essay you wrote, right? When it's time to do the second draft, the final draft, you have access to your first draft, and you can just download it and then make changes on that one, right? I will also, of course, email you an essay. It might have markings on it, and so maybe you can use that one, the one that it'll be in here. It'll be marked in here, and you'll just continue marking things, changing things, or if it's perfect, doing nothing to it because it's already perfect. Okay. Another thing that's up here, look at this. View rubric. Okay. Now, this essay has not been graded. Okay, so you won't see anything at first. But when it is graded and you click on View Rubric, you will see what ratings I gave you for each part. Okay, and of course, eventually you'll see a score and all that. Okay, you'll see a score right there. So you'll get 100 out of 100 or 90 out of 100 or whatever it is. So that's eventually, okay? But right away you know that it worked or that it didn't work. Now, if neither thing happens, if this, you don't see it there and you can't download it, then something went wrong. If you still are within the late period, which you might be, right? If you turn it in October 3rd, October 5th, something like that, you still have till October 10th, then contact me. Send me a message on Pronto. And the message, let me remind you what you should put. Let's see, if we go back to, where do I go? Essay 1 assignment. Back into the assignment description itself. Send me a message on Pronto, that's my preference, where you will say, I'm so-and-so, so Albert would do this. I'm Albert Cáceres from V05 or V06, whichever one, please delete my essay 1. So I'll know that I have to delete it. Like, if there's nothing there, you might think there's nothing to delete. No, I need to delete the nothingness of it, okay? I need to delete the empty submission, okay? So whatever the problem is, if no essay displays and I can't see it and won't be able to see it, send me this message. I will delete your entry, right? So you can then attach the correct one, okay? You can also send me an additional text and say, okay, thank you, but I'm not sure what I did wrong in the first place. Can you guide me, right? And we'll troubleshoot. We'll see what went wrong so you don't make the same mistake again, right? So that's what you would do, right? You would contact me, and again, this is all assuming that it's happening before the late deadline, which is 10/10. It might even be happening before the on-time deadline, right? You notice on October 1st, October 2nd, you might still have time to submit it by the on-time deadline. That's great, or by the late. Either way is fine. So that's how to find out if your essay actually got through, right? Another place you can check is in My Grades. You go to My Grades, and it's not going to work for me. I mean, it worked in the sense that it produced the list, but there are many ways in which it didn't work. For example, what is it? 318. That's what it is. It won't list it for me, so I can't satisfactorily show you this. But put it in all, put it in course order, Or maybe even go to graded because, oh no, not graded, submitted, right? Oh, cool, it does work. Oh, I see what happened. It took it from all and stuck it in submitted. Maybe that's what happened. Although I don't think so. All should have everything. These are like subcategories, but you notice what happened there? September 30th, I submitted it, right? It worked. Not only that, but I can get back to it. Will it let me? Will it let me? It did, right? Notice it let me get my essay back. It doesn't look like a link. Well, it does. It's that little blue color, which is used for links sometimes here in Blackboard. No grade yet, right? I just submitted it. I can see the rubric. Nothing hasn't been graded, but I can see the way it's going to be graded. But I click on there and I get back. I get back, right? Ah, okay. It is there. Mr. Pettis will grade it. It's going to be there when he gets around to grading it, which will be as soon as I can. All right. You should probably have a grade for it within 2 weeks from the on-time deadline, which would be, I guess, from October 3rd to, what would that be? October 17th. Okay, so that is so that didn't have to do with format, although you can see the format over and over as I display it, how it should look, right? I keep scrolling and scrolling. But the final word was how to find out if it actually worked. Okay, and that's it. That's the end of this video. As they say in Japanese, sayonara, right? Goodbye. Trying to find the place where I can end this video.